So you guys see this card right here that I'm pointing to? So he's pretty solid now. Let's go ahead and talk about him. So we're going to divide this video up into 4 different parts. We're going to give a brief overview of the Electro Giant and the buffs that he's received over the past month or so, I guess you could say, because he's actually gotten multiple waves of buffs. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that. Next up, I want to go over some really key interactions with the Electro Giant that have changed, and we'll do a gameplay segment with that. Then after that, I'm actually going to do some gameplay with the Electro Giant with the best Electro Giant deck in Clash Royale and show you guys what it actually looks like in a match scenario. And then last but finally not least, I'm going to give my overall thoughts about the Electro Giant. And there will be timestamps in the description down below, so that way you can skip to what segment in the video you want to know the most. Although you should watch the entire video because really, every segment is extremely important. And also, kind of while you're down there and in that general area, just like subscribe, please. No. So the first buff that happened to the Electro Giant was actually over a month ago on October 14th of 2020, in which he got a 12.5% hit point buff to make him comparable to like the Lava Hound and the Mega Knight in terms of hit points. And I haven't updated the game yet. I still got to do that on my iPad. So of course this buff to the Electro Giant was to fix his reflected damage. Reflected damage will now scale alongside levels. This will make Electro Giant more powerful against attacking units. Previously, reflected damage was the same at level from 6 and up. So now it scales all the way up to level 13 according to the level of your Electro Giant. And that's pretty dang sick. Next up, we're going to take a look at some of the different interaction changes with this Electro Giant buff. Now there are actually a bunch of changes with this Electro Giant buff because the reflected damage actually scales up with the zap, but I'm just going to show 8 of the ones that I find to be really interesting to look at, to be honest. Let me just say right now, that one has to be my favorite. It's safe to say the Electro Giant is a extremely good counter to X-Bow. Skeleton Dragons also get taken out in 3 hits by the Electro Giant, which is... This card is so fun, man. Because of the Lumberjack's really fast hit speed, every time it hits the Electro Giant just zaps and does damage, and it does a lot of damage every single time. So I think it's safe to say the P.E.K.K.A. is actually still a pretty solid option on defense. It's 1 elixir less than the Electro Giant, and it can still take it out pretty easily without taking that much damage to your tower. And also say if you have something like a building, like a bomb tower or a goblin cage to pull the Electro Giant over, that helps you defend it even better. My favorite card in the game, the Knight, which can actually do solid damage to the Electro Giant, but still, it's absolutely no match because he zaps away the bats, he zaps her every single time, which just reduces her health, and it's just no match for the Electro Giant. Okay, so that's the first time I've actually tested that interaction, and Elite Barbarians are a solid option, so if you are struggling against the Electro Giant and you have Elite Barbarians leveled up, then use them. Of course, you're still going to take a little bit of damage, but Elite Barbarians, they hit really hard, and they can do well against the Electro Giant. And then the last test I wanted to do is with the minion horde, because that one is just so satisfying to look at. 2 hits and each minion is gone. Oh my goodness, that was That was so beautiful to watch. Those interactions are really fun to look at. I love testing interactions between cards, man. I'm just a nerd like that. I absolutely love it. So again, that is a very small sample size. That is only 8 cards out of the 101 cards in Clash Royale that I tested interactions for. But I think those cards are pretty important to test. I'll admit, I threw the Night Witch in there just because she's my favorite card. But a lot of these cards are very important to look at in terms of the Electro Giant. So that's why I picked them. And now it's time for some actual gameplay to see how it fares in an actual match. So here's the deck that we are going to be using. Now this is the highest win rate Electro Giant deck in Clash Royale. As this recording, it is a 78.9% win rate, which is almost 80 freaking percent, which is an absolutely unreal number. And so we're actually going to take this deck on ladder because I have all these cards maxed except for the Prince, but I still think a level 12 Prince can do fine. Also, this deck is 4.4 elixir, so it's pretty dang expensive. So you want to play this deck really slow. You want to play it like you would play most Golem decks. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, let's go ahead and dominate against Bibo from Argentina CBA. So honestly, we got Electro Giant in our first cycle. You know what? I was gonna play it, but now I realize that would not be a good decision because we're playing against Lumberloon, and that would just be cringe, you know? All right, so we end up taking 1 balloon hit. That's absolutely okay. I am doing so great right now.
I smell cap.
So what we're gonna do, now we play Electro Giant in the back. I just want to. He doesn't have a Lumberjack to help out defend, and we're just gonna go and see what happens. Sometimes in life, you just gotta go, especially with the Electro Giant. You just gotta go and see what the man can do. Ooh, he's got a Witch? What is the Witch gonna do? The Witch probably won't do much on defense considering all the skeletons will get zapped away. So that's cool. Oh, this is nice. We're gonna NATO this in. Oh my gosh. That's gonna be nice. Come on, Electro Giant, take it out. Take all the stuff out. Oh, that's beautiful. That's nice. That's real nice. But it actually didn't end up doing that much. Aw. So that was a complete failure. I'm loving that. Do your Lumberloon at the bridge right now. I dare you, man. Put yourself in a deficit by placing 9 elixir at the bridge. I dare you, bro.
No.
All right, that was an expected play. That Lumberjack coming down with the rage. That's pretty expected. Please just shut it down. Shut down the balloon. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, baby dragon and Mega Minion. We take death damage, but that's okay.
That's all right.
Go on, Mega Minion, please. Yes, let's go. Mega Minion hits on towers are some of the most devastating things in Clash Royale history. I'll tell you that right now, because Mega Minion does a crap ton of damage. All right, so here we go. It's double elixir. He's probably going to play a wizard along with the witch, so thank you so much. Thank you for the lightning value, good sir. And now, oh, cool tornado, bro. Then we're going to throw a baby dragon. Ah, that's going to do so much. That's going to do so much. Why would you play a skeleton army? That isn't going to end up doing a lot because the Electro Giant just gets rid of all the skeletons. Oh my goodness, the defensive capabilities on offense, that made no sense at all. Just the capabilities in general of the freaking Electro Giant are unreal. Let's go for 3. I want to go for 3. Let's do it. I think it's safe to say this guy has given up. We are going for 3, and this man is doing nothing about it. Let's freaking go. That deserves a Mega Knight emote on this fool. So from the gameplay, I mean, I think it's safe to say that it's a pretty dang good card, you know? I mean, again, that was just one match. It's a very small sample size, but still, that was very fun. That was a very dominant match on our part. Sure, we took a couple balloon hits, but you know, you can do that with a beatdown deck, honestly. That's pretty common practice for like a lot of Golem and Elixir Golem decks. You just take hits, but then you punish because your opponent expended so much Elixir, and then you just dominate like we did. So my overall thoughts on the Electro Giant. Let's talk about it. At this point, with this Electro Giant buff, actually the 2 buffs that he got, I think that he is actually a pretty solid card. And I think it was proven that the big issue with the Electro Giant was his reflected attack. That was the one thing that was holding him back. Because before the reflected attack, it, you know, only scaled up to a level 6 zap, which is complete garbage. But now it scales up to a max level zap, and it can do a lot of things. Like, I think the biggest example was with the Minion Horde that we showed, and the Skeleton Dragons as well. It can take the Minion Horde out in 2 hits, and it can take the Skeleton Dragons out in 3 hits. And those are 2 pretty high DPS units. And it just, the Electro Giant is so good now, man. And I'm really excited to see what kind of decks people make with him. I think most of the decks are primarily going to be beatdown based, but just because the nature of the card isn't just simply a tank, it's so much more than a tank, I think that a lot of people can get creative, and I myself will definitely get creative. So yeah, that's the Electro Giant. If you guys did enjoy this video, then please be sure to leave a like down below. I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, comment down below what you guys think about the Electro Giant right now. As I said, I think he's going to be a pretty solid card in the meta, but I want to hear what you guys think as well. And also, if you are new to the channel and you like what you see, then be sure to subscribe down below. I'd greatly appreciate it. But anyway, gamers, it's your boy Solar Fury signing off. Peace out, guys. Have a nice day.